Hello everyone and welcome back to Smackdown, Rebound, and just, okay. Normally I don't mind doing these videos, but for some reason tonight I just feel this awkward tension right in between me. Oh boy. Hello everybody, my name is Connor, aka the tension can be felt, KayFabe, and welcome back right here to OneWrestling.com and OneWrestling.com video here on YouTube, as we're going to take down, look everything that happened during Smackdown in a show that I like to call, or we like to call, the Smackdown Rebound. Yeah, you kind of get the idea. We cover everything Smackdown Live. I mean, come on. I've only been doing this for 6 weeks. Work with me here, people. Anyway, yes, we're going to talk about everything that happened at the Backlash Smackdown, and you guys can also check out my thoughts on Backlash over on my YouTube channel as well too. A lot of craziness, a lot of action, a lot of hype, a lot of intriguing things heading into No Mercy, which is the next big Smackdown pay-per-view exclusively on the network in early October. Interestingly enough, they're going to be going and building a lot of matches heading into No Mercy, but let's get right down to it. First and foremost, guys, again, I want to thank you guys for your continued love and support here on the One Wrestling Video YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and like button, and make sure you join and check out all the entire members of the OneWrestling.com video YouTube channel family. That's a mouthful. I really need to we need to work on condensing that somehow, because that's just, I'm out of breath just talking about it. In any case, make sure you follow everyone's links for their various social media, including Facebook and Twitter, down in the link, down in the description box here below as well too. Of course, make sure you follow us at One Wrestling on Twitter, and of course, follow the legendary, the iconic Mr. Bill After at After One Wrestling. Of course, yours truly at OKayFabe. I mean, the green sign is kind of an allusion to that kind of makes sense, right? Doesn't it? All right, let's get right down to the nitty gritty. AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, or the champ that runs the camp, scamp, tramp, hamp. I can't keep up with these Dr. Seuss rhymes, AJ. I just can't do it. Between Apollo Crews spelling and your rhyming, it's very hard for me to keep up. I need some Hooked on Phonics. Anyway, point being, we got AJ Styles coming out and gloating about his amazing victorious victory. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Over Dean Ambrose at Backlash, winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and thus, of course, calling himself the champ that runs the camp, unless he is interrupted by none other than the returning 15-time World Heavyweight Champion, none other than John Cena. Cena basically saying that he wants he wants his item back. Of course, Styles is thinking he's alluding to the armband, but no, he wants to be the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. He wants a shot at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but oh no, not before Dean Ambrose decides to get his rematch, and we get some very awkward tension between John Cena and Dean Ambrose, which I'm really digging. A couple of shots were fired, that's for sure. But ultimately, before any chaos and calamity can be had, Shane McMahon, the commissioner, does interrupt him and announces officially that at No Mercy in just a few short weeks, I think it's about 4 weeks away, about a month or so, we will see Dean Ambrose, AJ Styles, and John Cena in a triple threat match for that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Interestingly enough, there's a lot of interesting dynamics about this particular matchup, but we're going to get more to that when we get to the main event. Shane does announce that we'll see Dean Ambrose and John Cena team up against AJ Styles and a mystery partner, if he can get a mystery partner. Yeah, we'll go, yeah. There's someone called mystery partner? Oh, yes, yeah, because it's a mystery until you don't. I'm picking up on this stuff. Just relax. Anyway, we kick things off officially in the ring with the Usos against the Hype Bros in a rematch from Backlash. Nothing too much to write home about this particular feud. However, it's very interesting, once again, as I mentioned previously in other episodes, that I like to see the Usos as a heel team. I love the new change. They got rid of the face paint. They're kind of stoic. They're mean. They're nasty. Kind of a little bit of throwback to the old Wild Samoan days, with the Usos ultimately getting the win over the Hype Bros. I'm all for it. I just wish the Hype Bros would get a break a little bit, but we'll get more into the tag team division in a little bit as we further down the road. Miz also was coming out tonight and also bragging about his victorious victory. Victorious victory. I feel like that's really redundant. His victory over Dolph Ziggler at Backlash, retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Of course, Dolph Ziggler interrupts him wanting one more championship match with no interruptions whatsoever, of course, blaming Maurice for the hairspray incident that happened at Backlash, thus making Miz still Intercontinental Champion. Basically saying, hey, if she wasn't there, you probably wouldn't be champion. And ultimately, Miz shuts him down. Sorry, Maurice actually shuts him down. But Daniel Bryan tries to negotiate something else, but ultimately Miz, being so upset and scoffed at this idea, that he storms out saying he will defend the Intercontinental Championship and show up on what show he wants on his own terms. And actually walks through the crowd and actually leaves, thinking we're going to see the end of The Miz, but don't worry, all you Mizanites, Misfits, that's what he called them. I couldn't remember what they were called. Misfits. We'll be intrigued to see what happens in the main event. Apollo Crews takes on Baron Corbin, or rather was supposed to happen, but Baron Corbin ultimately ends up taking out Apollo Crews before the match even starts. As Baron Corbin drinks it in, as I call it, because he does the standing pose like Jericho, we get an interruption from Jack Swagger, of all people, who showed up last night on Monday Night Raw, kind of upset, but ultimately he did make the announcement that he has officially jumped ship. Jack Swagger, the All-American, American, is now part of the Blue Brand's Smackdown Live, which I'm really pumped and excited for. I was kind of worried, I was kind of nervous that Jack Swagger was ultimately going to be leaving WWE, but instead we get something that much more epic. Jack Swagger is now part of the Blue Brand. I can't wait to see what happens. Very intriguing stuff. I really can't wait to see what they do with him. Maybe another possible shot at the Intercontinental Championship. Come on, Miz. Bring it on. I'd love to see Jack Swagger back as IC champion. We have a fatal 5-way match for the Women's Championship for SmackDown #1 contendership. We have basically the women who did not win at Backlash. Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Natalya, Nikki Bella, and Carmella all battling out to see who will get the right to face Becky Lynch down the road, most likely and presumably at No Mercy. Fantastic, crazy action with all 5 of these women. Basically the same kind of action we did see very similar at Backlash as well. Ultimately, Alexa Bliss getting the victory, as this one was different style than the elimination we saw at Backlash, but instead we see Alexa Bliss getting the first pinfall victory and thus securing herself as the #1 contender for Becky's championship. To be honest with you, that match is going to be absolutely freaking amazing. Can't wait to see what happens with Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch tear it up for the SmackDown Women's Championship, again, presumably at No Mercy. Heath Slater out to finally sign what we've all been waiting for. His kids are proud. His wife is proud. They're getting that double wide. Heath Slater signing the SmackDown Live contract and thus establishing himself also as the first ever co-holder of the first SmackDown Tag Team Championships. As he's celebrating out there with his buddy Rhino, basically ultimately saying that they are fighting champions. They'll take any challengers, anytime, any place. Well, they put that to the test as the Ascension of all teams ultimately comes out to challenge Heath Slater and Rhino for those tag team championships. Very solid matchup between the teams. I hate to admit it, I was kind of rooting for the Ascension a little bit. I'm not going to lie with you guys. Ascension is kind of one of my favorite teams on the SmackDown Live roster. And as much as I love Heath Slater and his kids, which, by the way, I definitely got to get that new shirt. I've got kids. I gotta get that Heath Slater shirt. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out WWE Shop. Ultimately, Heath Slater and Rhino do successfully retain the tag team titles. I kind of like the fact that they actually put the titles so quickly on the line on SmackDown. It does make for must-see TV and intriguing developments as far as other championships and other championship matches that could possibly happen. You never know what's going to happen on WWE Live programming. Speaking of which, Randy Orton comes out to address Bray Wyatt and what happened at Backlash. Basically, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton go back in a little bit of a verbal debate. Ultimately, though, Bray Wyatt decides to sneak up on the Viper at ringside, but then ultimately doing that weird, like, Wyatt kind of creepy voodoo magic thing, like the, you know what I'm talking about, the blah, like, you know what I mean, like the weird. I gotta figure out how to do that, like to sneak out of work early, just to, like, hit that sound effect and just like, bah, you know, get up. Anyway, I digress. And Eric Rowan popping up in the ring. Yes, we haven't seen Eric Rowan in over a month on SmackDown, ultimately trying to attack Randy Orton, but to no avail as Orton does hit an RKO, leaving Rowan. Why is he saying Orton? Orton leaving Rowan flat out from an RKO. So it looks like they're still continuing the Randy Orton-Bray Wyatt feud, which I am all for and all 100% fully in. But speaking of fully in, we go to the main event between John Cena and Dean Ambrose against AJ Styles and a returning James Ellsworth. For those who don't know who James Ellsworth is, he was probably one of the most let's just say, local enhanced talent that Braun Strowman had recently wrecked over on Monday Night Raw. Don't know where the hell they found him. Don't know, and I don't care because he is awesome and amazing. But unfortunately for James, just as he was about to make his way to the ringside, The Miz showing up, attacking James, and ultimately not letting him into the matchup. Thus, Miz taking his official place as the tag team partner for the World Heavyweight Champion AJ Styles as we get the tag team main event scene underway. Fantastic match, craziness, epicness, basically your standard tag team matchup with high stars and high stakes in the mix of it all. John Cena ultimately hitting an AA on The Miz to help the babyface team win, but lo and behold, the action didn't stop there. As an ultimate turn of events, Dean Ambrose hitting the dirty deeds on John Cena after their really intense verbal conversation at the beginning of the show to close out SmackDown Live this week. SmackDown was kind of all over the place, guys, and I don't mean that in a negative sense whatsoever. The most intriguing thing, as I was mentioning before, was Dean Ambrose. It looks like they were planting the seeds here to turn Dean Ambrose possibly heel on television, which I am all for. I think that a lot of people miss the craziness and epicness of Dean Ambrose, and I think that we didn't really see that too much as he was WWE champion. But granted, he was champion, and it was a very short-lived title run, so it's going to be interesting to see how things progress, especially between John Cena and Dean Ambrose, and who is the true ultimate fan favorite. I'm kind of digging the whole Miz thing, but I'm very curious to see where exactly it's going to go, and of course, Jack Swagger on SmackDown's got me very pumped and very intrigued. As mentioned previously, SmackDown Tag Team titles being defended on the show. Wouldn't mind a random championship match every now and then, especially now that SmackDown has 4 championships under its brand. You've got the World Title, Intercontinental, SmackDown Tag, and SmackDown Women's. So even though I'm presuming that Alexa Bliss, who, again, I cannot wait for that match between her and Becky Lynch, even though I'm presuming that those two will be fighting each other at No Mercy, the next big SmackDown Live pay-per-view, I wouldn't mind seeing it on a SmackDown Live show maybe in the next couple of weeks or so to help kind of counteract the Clash of the Champions pay-per-view that Raw is producing very soon. Very, very awesome show. Loved everything about it. I want to know, though, what you guys have to say. What do you guys think of this week's SmackDown Live? I thought it was a very highly entertaining show. Great flow, great matches. Really looking forward to what things go and progress in the future, especially that tag team division. Very curious what they're going to do with it. No Side of American Alpha, Usos on fire, and Slater and Rhino are the champs. All this stuff and more. I want to know your thoughts again, guys, down here in the comment section below. Again, hit me up over on the Twitter at OKayFabe, or hit over at One Wrestling and After One Wrestling. Let us know what you guys think of SmackDown. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, and I want to thank you guys again so much for the continued love and support here on One Wrestling, OneWrestling.com video, and of course my YouTube channel as well too. All those links down in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching. Appreciate the continued love and support. We will see you here next week on the SmackDown Rebound, which I'm sure is going to be very intriguing to say the least. And of course, make sure once again to support the entire OneWrestling.com family. Check out all the links down in the description box below, including myself, Bill Apter, One Wrestling, the entire Big Slam Nation crew. Go to OneWrestling.com for all your wrestling news, sorts, and needs. And of course, to quote the legendary, the iconic Mr. Bill Apter, we will see you at the matches.